27th skræða. Ginnungagap. Nýsta Niður, and this is told in past tense. Why would that be? Óðinn gefin Óðni, ég gefin sjálfum mér, I given to myself. Gnothi se auton, Greek, gnothi se auton, know thyself. What the true philosophy is all about. Science, understanding profound knowledge from our forefathers, rediscovered. Do you think that our cultural and spiritual heritage, which has been preserved during thousands of years, thereby proven that it is here to be, is irrelevant to us nowadays? I shall tell you, it's perennial. We need the wisdom now. Forni Niður is our culture, and its beautiful and profound core and essence is what we need to understand. Not only understand, but live it. What we have here is a necessity of life. It is practical science, science of life and necessity. We Niður, transcend, to be pure consciousness, gain support of nature, and this is the bridge to reach Valhöll soon. Fully alive, enlightened men. The gain of life is that we are looking for something that we know or assume to be somewhere. Mind is like a monkey who jumps from branch to branch looking for bananas. It is not the nature of the monkey to jump from branch to branch. That is obvious as you see what happens when he finds abundance of bananas. The nature of the mind is not to jump from one thought to another. I admit by its inherent nature mind seeks its lost bliss, that which it is, and knows deep inside to be there somewhere. When mind enjoys the bliss of Glaðheimar, a bunch of Valföður means bananas, or as it were, it settles down in that eternal bliss. Seeking, it found what for sure is. It is not the nature of the mind to enjoy the bananas that the senses bring. By nature, mind is silence and dynamism. Mind is in the image of Ginnungagap, the powerful serenity. As we now know this, we shall for sure make possible for our mind to live this. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. In union, yog with Ginnungagap, is the mind gunnir least excited. Samatva is the natural state of mind. Samatam yoga uchete. Balance, equanimity, is the only perfectly normal for the mind. Mind cannot be forced to its own samatva. Striving ruins the automatic flow. Concentration, contemplation, striving has effects. It prohibits mind to settle down. We might feel some sloth afterwards, which is not good effects at all, but relief only after getting out of the striving and pushing burden. Our mind, the quickest, the multi-level function, and sometimes out of control. Did Þjálfi, see first skræða on Thor, win the race of fast running against hugi, mind? Mind needs its natural samatva, gained by Niður. Our brain is a super organ, extremely efficient and apt, and cannot be forced to stop. Our frontal brain is very busy. Here we contemplate, here is our human intellect, here we reason and take decisions. We shall hear again some names for Ginnungagap and us, then in its image. How weird terms Ginnungagap and how modern science describes it. All possibilities, freedom, unboundedness, self-sufficient, bliss, the whole, refers to itself, invincibility, perfect balance, fully awake within itself, all possibilities of natural law, simplicity, uncreated, unifying, infinite correlation, endless power, endless silence, pure knowledge, infinite organizing power, perfect orderliness, purifying, immortality, nourishing, evolutionary, endless creativity possibilities. We possess all potentials of qualities of Ginnungagap. We have access to our treasure. Where is the key? Here. We need no burglar gear to get into our own house. We have the key, and this is how it works. Hearing, one of the senses, is charmed by Gunnlöð. As we practice the unified field technique, the TM technique, mind, by its own nature, is attracted to happiness and bliss. A severe note, do not do anything to spoil that. Nýsir automatically Niður when it gets the chance to settle down, achieved by using the correct technique correctly applied. Why hasn't anyone taught us? Well, no one knew. The wisdom was sleeping. Mind is an interesting phenomenon. It has many levels of functioning. We are wise to create a mind for our ego. We are proud of our intellect, thoughts, intelligence, skills. Very proud, very proud. Explanation on intellect. Intellect is that which discriminates, reasons. Mind does not do that. Mind only collects info. The höfuðskepnur, main created, are not creatures, not animals, no anima. Light, as an example, does not know of itself, not registering its own existence, nor the existence of anything else. even if it can travel with the speed of light, which is slow compared to mind in its swings, and slow compared to wormhole sliding of bölverkur in space-time foam Freyja. We let two light beams cross and see that they do not react one to the other. No reactions, so light does not have any feeling for what's happening. Our inner light is another light. We no longer need to see the gods as in darkness, our lack of perception. And the gods are happy that we are not going to live in darkness as they see it. Because now, a little insert here. Nýsta, Sanskrit. Ni plus stem sta, to glue, keep fastened, be grounded in, placed in, stand on, depend on, referring to, determined, reverent worship, strengthening, gives power, leads to, emit, yield. Ni er stad, same stemmer sta, certain past tense with a y instead of an I. Aorist, chronos aoristos in classical Greek, a special past tense of verbs. A, not denying prefix, plus oristos, specified in time. Nýstan, stem stan, sound. Scream, roar, æpa. See how a mál rúnatal. A little more of grammar and etymology because it is such fun. Nýsast, spy. Nýrup, nýriks, and such. To nose into. Nikur. Nikur is an Irish and Icelandic folklore creature. Nakra is crocodile, same word as nikur, sneaks into the water and up to the surface, just as we do when we go to the feast at Ægis. Because now, continued as promised, we are going to get rid of our fog. Fog is not for real. This lack of seeing is our stupidity, our ignorance. We are not truly educated. We live in the filth without even knowing. Nýsta, nýsta, nýsast, nýsa. Nýsta is the ancient past tense, first person singular, of nýsa. Nýsta niður, recharged my batteries, came out again into thoughts. Nýsa, nýsast, to nose, snoop, poke about, pry into, spy, be curious. We peep behind human thought to look for that something that for sure is. Ní vartadvam, thou shouldest nýsast niður. Regaining serenity, the only normal state of a man. Now, dvinun, dhyana, be in the fourth stage of pure consciousness. Thought and individual awareness, dvinar, gets faint, to calmness, we expand to infinity. Hávamal tell in past tense, nýsta niður, because during the transcendence, there is not thinking, no telling, free from experience in time, only union. We cannot tell in present tense. We tell beforehand what will happen, or afterwards. Mind is completely pure here, not caught up in its usual human thoughts, living its inherent bliss only. We should not want our gods, presidents of the laws of nature, to be in fog and darkness, seen from us, that is, because it is our lack of sight, not their light. Rather, we should want to become ever purer, not accumulate stress filth that eventually becomes diseases, results in wrong decisions and all kinds of troubles. Here the unified field technique comes in handy. TM is the key to purity. It has been known for thousands of years, but unfortunately fewer and fewer practiced it. Some got the wrong idea that this practice would not suit the working man. It would be suitable only for the contemplating ones, exclusively leading this way of life, doing nothing else in the world. Some even practiced masochism, only to wreck their physiology, a disaster. The system got split up into schools and branches, systems and additions. Perhaps they didn't have any good method or technique, sat there thinking about it. The working man was thought to be unsuitable for any such endeavor. Maharishi gives us a technique that works for everyone, fits into the lifestyle of families and every individual. It is not the lifestyle, surface, that counts, but how evolved we are, if we understand. It is exactly here, from this very spot on which each one is, that we shall take our next step. The only secure way to evolve is to taste the meat of Gunnlöð in Niður. Everyone can find time for that. Saves time and energy as we become more efficient. We should understand intellectually why we should be doing this. And why? Evolve? What is that? We are evolved. Have evolved for millions of years, so we can go on working now. Being tired is not good. Working too much is tiring. Bad luck, struggle, consuming. We should know that everything becomes easier when we are connected to the power. If we want things to go our way, we should imbibe the infinite skill in management found in Tívatún. Laws of nature are always flawless and all-powerful. All students and all working men can practice the unified field technique twice daily. Becomes a habit schedule, like brushing teeth, eat, sleep and that stuff. We should understand how simple it is and how powerful it is. What we gradually gain is the gladness of Glaðheimar blooming in life, in school, at work, at home. We gradually make less mistakes, take right decisions, think precisely and efficiently. That counts for saving time, energy and money in the long run. But these privileges are benefits and byproducts. The real purpose and goal is reaching Valhöll fully alive. We are inclined to be beguiled by that worldly stuff, lose sight of the destination. The stuff out there, Gungnir, teases and stimulates the senses. They are only doing their job, bringing all kinds of things to the mind. Mind likes the little happinesses, perhaps no two wanting the same. We try to take right decisions, do what is right, but we have to know that actions do not lead to enlightenment by themselves. Actions give skuld, good actions bring a good skuld. All actions that are not grounded in being are weak. All actions follow the natural law of urður verðandi skuld, law of karma, action, reaction. To reach Valhöll as soon as possible, we should be powered from that. We can live million lifespans in actions alone, not getting anywhere. Some good intentions might not get us anywhere because we lack the technique to reach Samadhi, technique to Nýsta Niður. Hopes, prayers, longings, anticipation are all in the sphere of thoughts and feelings. Is no use, can even do harm, as to keep mind in thoughts, which hinders. The good technique is for the very purpose of ridding the mind of all this stuff. We gradually, as years of transcending go by, get used to the light in Niður. We start seeing more and more. Niður grow in size the further in we come. Even if I would read all these skræður, good as they are, would understand every word, if I would read all the books in the world, understand all their messages, I would not become wise. Wisdom is gained by frequenting visla ad ægis, transcend to the abyss. The best fórn is to bring, færa, our own individual consciousness to the feast. Returning to the sphere of thoughts, we are well fed of fimbulrúna soup. I assume Ægir has no dry dishes on the menu. Even if I would read the Edda, understand every word, but not Nýsta Niður, I would have to hear this sentence and understand what it is telling me. All the wisdom of the Veda is like a little pond on an island, surrounded by the great ocean. Not suffices to own words that explain concepts. Not suffices to learn all my clever teachings in reading symbolic language, if we do not have the direct experience of the bliss. Belief in the letter, fundamentalism, can be termed as illiteracy. Literacy is not either when we try to explain words with new words, explain the symbolic terms with other known terms, even if it's great fun for the mind to peep under the surface that covers the meaning. Have you come across the term laws of nature in these skræður, and natural law? I have the notion that you have. Are they of concern? Isn't this only for some specialists and scientists and scholars? Do we benefit from them? They are there and that's okay, suffices. Do we need to understand them? Do we affect them or they us in any way? Isn't that just something boring, all that law stuff? In unity there is a flow, movement within it. Tívar take over one from the other in this flow of intelligence. Does that have anything to do with us? Oh yes, we are this flow, and we can access its infinite power whenever we wish. Personifications are misleading, I know, but how do we explain powers, thimble powers, who cannot be seen with our eyes, but are for real, in us, in our world, and in consciousness? Personifications are not all stupid, a way to explain, because all in the universe is in the same image as is man, as is also Ginnungagap. Our mind creates a universe in the image of the gap, as nothing is but the gap in which Tívatún, the laws of nature, abide. Endless possibilities are here, nothing other than a gap is. What is it that changes the mud, where the roots of the water lily lotus are, into the buds and flowers that we see when they peep out of the water to enjoy the sunlight? It is our natural law. The origin of all is Ginnungagap, the moving wholeness, iðandi, moving within itself eternally. Our nature is blossoming, expansion everywhere, power of life, perfection in all life, in the image of Ginnungagap. Did I mention somewhere that we are consciousness, the gap? What spurs the evolution? What makes the leaves of the water lily resist water? It is the law. Tívar are in everything in the world. That only is their orderliness. Rögn, regin, rán, ragna sjöt. The man who does not fall into prajna parada, the mistake of his intellect, connects to unity, lives ritam, para prajna. Ritam is right, para, upheld, prajna, wisdom, intelligence. He lives the orderliness of Tívar, the sphere of infallibility, of correct intuition. Sphere of all knowledge, Tívatún, only encloses truth, the perfect, the right. Here is the switchboard, home of the laws, all order, all dynamism, all silence. Here man can act and think from the finest point between consciousness and thought. When man Nýsist Niður to the flawless origin of all, he finds his perfection. His thoughts are now this perfection. By practicing the unified field technique, nemast upp fimbulrúnir Tívatúna. Flawless power of Tívar, Deva, is gained. The communication between me and me, no distance, expands. When we so enliven Tívatún, laws of nature in consciousness, we enjoy ever better fair winds from nature in which we live. Bounty, gifts from Gná and Fulla, worldly and spiritual wealth. See Frigg, Skræða 18. Research shows how we ever better use our brain, coherence, overall correlation. Even IQ heightens, which we thought to be fixed and inborn. We assumed we could only lose our brain with age, but that is sheer rubbish. Now we realize, find out where we are rowing, where we are heading. Duality no longer kicks us about. Duality is the cause of fear. Stop scooping darkness in darkness. We peep over ignorance. When natural law and Tívatún are awake in us, we are kings of the universe who always do right, only the flawless. Natural law is nourishing. They display endless power, endless quietness, perfect correlation. What am I promising here? Worldly and spiritual bounty? Yes, worldly and spiritual bounty. Glasið the golden-leaved, and 11 golden apples of Iðun, hot goða. Labels and institutions can be, at the best, placebo, no real security. Actually, they do not mean much. Only living the core of siður is needed. When I was a bairn, I misunderstood andakt to be some spiritual state. Later I learned that it is an adact, to think about something, most likely the divine then. That is no use, can become inertia, waiting passive for something, drome. We should not see thinking and feeling to be all. We need to get rid of that stuff. We create all in the image of Ginnungagap. Our awareness goes there to get the image. Mind has unbelievable faculties, can talk to our brain and communicate with the gap. How does mind do that? Biggest of big, smallest of small. When Sleipnir is supple, apt, he can bring us home to Ásgarður. Here we get nourished. Ægir is the core and essence of all siðir in the whole world. All nations are one big family. We should all perceive of who we are. There is space for all our desires. Good ones get support of nature. The quality of desires and all actions is of the same quality as the man. Those who live Tívatún are lucky men. Happiness is here, the everlasting happiness. And perfect health is the only natural state of every man, all creatures, nothing less. Health is the perfect frequency of the vibrations we call gunnir. Health is being whole, which in turn is the wholeness and perfection in Tívatún. Ullur burns up ignorance and paradisos. Adam and Eve lucky to have gotten out of the paradise of the animal stage. Now we commence the real evolution, evolving to perfection, reach Valhöll. Understanding right and wrong will come for real when we become pure and perfect. Take a trip to Glaðheimar, return to realm of thoughts and actions refreshed. That is Niður. That is nema upp fimbulrúnir og stinnastafi, which are practical and handy in daily life. This is so relevant, is needed by all men on earth nowadays. Perhaps the symbolic language, not understood in the Dark Ages, actually saved our heritage, the core hidden in metaphors. Robin Hood is Hróðbjartur, the bright from fame, hooded. Icelandic Hrói höttur, but höttur is often from Artaha, goal, like Síðhöttur, sit Artaha. Iðn is the diligence, iðni, that we need when we want to evolve spiritually. Then her divine golden apples are served for us, ambrosia of the gods. Geiri undaður, geir, etymology, hessa, quick. Und, etymology, und, flow from Sanskrit ud. Æpandi naam, æpandi can mean a sound. Here we are Nýstan, firmly grounded. Nýstan, stem, stan, roar, sound, æpa. We always have to count for misreading, misunderstanding, later time additions, but some dishonest, self-important scholars simply made up what they thought should be there. Opi is galdrastafur, magical sign, which skírnir, a ray from Freyr, ristir, to allow Gerður, the unenlightened, to see what crude men do not perceive of. Some are not interested at all in spiritual evolution. Rules of poetry in skírnismál change when comes to galdur, from ljóðaháttur to galdralag. The poem changes settings, the set on stage, another level, another insight. What stage of consciousness is there when Gerður sees her stagnation? Here we gain insight or intuition into what awaits if we stagnate, hereby the necessity to understand spiritual evolution of man. We need ormslíki, gæsavorm, as bölverkur to slip or glide inside. When we have entered, mind and awareness widen to infinity, gladheimar. We are much more elegant when we return to thoughts in the hamur, gæs, of a magnificent eagle, Arnar hamur, gæs of an eagle. Earth is eagle. My theories, Freyja, space-time foam, wormholes into no time, no space, Nidbjörg within. Note, 3 nights is no real time. And these are universes. In pure consciousness we can create whatever. Here is everywhere and always. All possibilities are in Ginnungagap. Our possibilities. Ginnungagap is everywhere. There are no limits to our creativity. We ourselves are the only who retard our shallow thoughts and narrow, fixed ideas. We do not make use of our limitless potentials in Ginnungagap. Here all is in thunder flow in accord with the laws of nature. All that we perform from this plane of being is correct, flawless, helps evolution, is in accord with dharma, that which upholds. Þjóðvitnið has the role of pratnya aparada, that causes illiteracy on symbolic language, makes us believe in the letter, think of the worldly only. So we take personifications as if they were people and things and animals. Of course, Suttungur, in the guise of a small hawk, doesn't have a chance, which means that evolution is stronger than ignorance and stagnation in the great quest. Evolution is innate in the power of expansion. In us the unbounded potentials abide in Ginnungagap. We should wake them up, shouldn't we? Have slept long enough, perhaps almost given up the chance of our waking up from our ignorance. What about a little kiss of love, as in bedtime stories? It always has the wanted effects there. Let's try. Stories are life, life is a story. The innate nature of all is to expand and evolve, bloom and blossom. Evolution is a natural phenomenon. We see that wherever we look. Creating and expanding is the innate nature of the world. Stagnation is an unforgivable mistake. Gerður is allowed to see that. Wonderful times of real science await us. The responsibility is ours. We are responsible for our Mother Earth, for our nature, who gives abundance if we revere her, and færum fórn bring to the feast. In first part of Hávamál, meant for þræll and karl, not evolved, see ríkstula, þræll, karl, jarl, there is a warning against greed. We should rather við vín eitt una live the flow of consciousness effortlessly. That gives easily gained real bounty in earth life. The purpose and goal of life is enlightenment. The only thing necessary, my dear Martha, is to transcend and gain purity. All the rest is simply juggling about in the world of actions, having fun in things. When we compare to the very natural enlightenment, to be an einherji. Supreme goal of life, we should strive for that. The technique is at hand. and we are at home here. Do not go for little things and base actions. We are born for the highest. Find all within in our own consciousness. We have a choice. Gudrun Dimbla, my teacher, Maharishi Indian physicist and enlightened man, points out to us where to find the knowledge and the understanding. And he teaches us the technique to transcend Nýsta, Niður. Best of thanks, Maharishi, my great teacher. We do supreme research in consciousness. All there is abides here. Nýsi niður, nemið fimbulrúnir. TM technique is easy, natural, easily learned, and works. Hundreds of scientific research supports that. Óðsmál for Burns, 40 skræður, are the key to the allegory and symbolic language. We now gain the understanding of the heritage handed over from our forefathers. We now get to know why we are born, what the purpose and goal of man's each lifespan is. We now fathom the profound beauty of our spiritual heritage. New theories, the real meaning rediscovered. A human life lived only in the world of Tríguna is superficial. Glaðheimar is our real home. Living Glaðheimar gives fair winds in life. We learn to do research in consciousness. Yogic flying, pure nervous system to heighten the world consciousness.